Let's talk about Lewisville. Good evening. I'm going to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. We do have a quorum present. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the May 16th, 2023 regular meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Motion is by Aram.
Second.
Second is by Karen. Why is that?
No, Robert beat me.
I mean, y'all were quicker than, go ahead.
Aram and Karen.
Gonna flip a coin.
Karen, did you?
I did, but
There you go. There you are.
then we got lost somewhere along the line.
Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. The next item on the agenda is a regular hearing. It is the final plat of Box Addition, Lot 1, Block A, on 16.719 acres out of the Peter Harmonson Survey, abstract number 604. This is Zone Light Industrial District, located on the west corner of the Edmonds Lane and State Highway 121 business intersection.
Good evening, Commissioners. The final plat of Box Addition was submitted on May 8, 2023, and has been reviewed by staff. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission disapprove the final plat of Box Addition for the deficiencies listed and delegate to staff the authority to accept and approve the plat once the listed deficiencies are corrected. The approved plat will be brought to the chair for signature. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. Commissioners, are there any comments or questions for staff on this item? And if not, then may I have a motion, please?
Move to disapprove the final plat and delegate to the staff the ability to accept and approve the final plat once the listed deficiencies are corrected.
Second.
Motion by Karen, second by Francis. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. The next item tonight is a public hearing, and this is in consideration of a zone change from Planned Development Mixed Use District to Planned Development Mixed Use District with updated standards and attachments for the commercial sub-district on 6.641 acres of land, legally described as Lewisville Corporate Center, Block A, Lot 2, located at the west side of Interstate Highway 35E, approximately 700 feet north of Grandy's Lane and 1,000 feet south of Justin Road, as requested by Joseph Hornisher, Kimley Korn, the applicant, on behalf of Field Street Development 1 Ltd. and 2018 lots of FLCT Limited, the property owners.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'd first like to give you a quick history on this piece of land in Lewisville. Back in 2015, City Council approved the Village of Lewisville Plan Development. This original plan development did not contain a traditional concept plan, but instead provided regulations with a great degree of flexibility, which resulted in unpredictability during the final development pattern. Because of this, in 2020, City staff initiated an update to this plan development, which added several sub-districts for the area of villages of Lewisville. The original PD approved back in 2015 did allow for multifamily for the entire area of the plan development, but the sub-districts did take away the ability for multifamily for a few specific areas, namely the commercial sub-district. The applicant and property owner are now looking to amend that PD back in 2020 to reallow multifamily for the commercial sub-district for the part of this plan development adjacent to the I-35. There are several key differences between the plan development approved back in 2020 and the one before you tonight. They are the addition of multifamily dwellings in retail-ready areas for the commercial sub-district, an amendment of several of the attachments of that 2020 plan development, and the addition of a new attachment showing landscape regulations for the commercial sub-district. So up on the screen right now, this is showing The commercial subdistrict, as first approved in 2020 on the upper portion of this page, and then below it, this will show the addition of this new, the new proposed concept plan for this. It's a fairly similar design with 4 multifamily buildings. The buildings will face the private commercial drive, which is now has Nora Apartments behind that. So the buildings are made to face both of those to create a pedestrian-friendly and more of a streetscape for that private drive. Up on the screen now, these are the renderings that were originally approved back in 2020 for the commercial subdistrict. There were architectural standards in the written PD standards. This was the exhibit we had, and on the screen, this is several portions of the new attachment. So this is in regards to attachment 15, the updated, which now have full building elevations for each elevation of all the buildings, plus some renderings, which you can see on the top there. So the architecture is a modern take on traditional apartment buildings. Along the private commercial street, the elevations have 50% brick with fiber cement and wood tone panels. On the other elevations, there's less brick and more of these panels, as you can see on the side elevation on the screen. There are new written architectural standards and the PD standards, but everything will keep in the general design theme as shown on the screen right now. On the screen now, this is the addition of that attachment 17, which now shows the precise landscaping which will appear in this area. Before we just had written standards, but now we have the addition of a new attachment in this PD showing the landscaping. As you can see, there's parking lot landscaping and a buffer of landscaping adjacent to the I-35. And kind of on the south there next to the frontage road, those are the garages. There are several deviations that were being requested with this plan development. These are all deviations to the original PD of 2015, and they will now also be applied to the commercial subdistrict, but will not require the approval of any alternative standards. Staff is in support of this amended plan development. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
John, on the rendering on the previous slide, on the bottom, is that what's going to be facing the highway?
No, this,
Or the other
what we
side?
can be shown on the bottom portion,
Yeah.
this is what's facing the commercial private street. And one thing I completely skipped over in my presentation was the retail-ready spots. The applicant has committed to 12,000 square feet of retail-ready space, which will have a 12-foot ground floor height. It'll initially be multifamily units, but as the market changes, they will allow the conversion into commercial space. As you can see in this bottom rendering, there are actually architectural designated spaces for signage whenever that happens.
So what is, or do we have a rendering of what will be facing the freeway?
I believe so. I'd have to look at the entire package to verify that.
Okay. I know this will come up later with the overlay, but I was just curious as to what's going to be facing the freeway as you drive down and see these buildings, what they're going to look like from that perspective.
So I'll be more than happy to go through the entire attachment and show those to you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for staff? Okay. Thank you, John.
Thanks.
Commissioners, are there any questions or discussion before I open the public hearing? No? Okay. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward. I believe there's a sign-in sheet. State your name, and we will be happy to hear from you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Brian McNally with Legacy Partners, 299 Olympus Boulevard, Dallas, Texas, 75019. Don't really have anything to add to what John just said, but wanted to come up here and let you know that we're here to answer any specific questions you may have. We've been working on this project with staff for over 6 months now, and really excited about where we are at this point. So I want to let you know I'm here to answer questions. We got some of the design team members as well.
Do you have any idea on the living spaces on this, the size and price point?
Average size is 872 square feet.
Okay.
Starting price point will be $1,425 a month, going to $3,000.
And that would be for the 872, the 1425?
872 is the average.
Okay.
So size-wise, it'll range from 560 to 1330.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Can you tell me something about the utilities in there? The utilities. Do y'all have, is it gonna be all electric or is it gonna be gas too?
Okay. So we'll have stainless steel appliances. The plan we have right now is for electric. So electric cooktop, electric hot water heater.
Okay.
And I believe, back to your question about the rendering here, that is the highway side there on the top picture.
Oh, that's the highway side, okay.
So that would be, we've got 4 buildings perpendicular to the highway, and that building will be one of the center buildings. So like that's the entrance to our leasing office right there. And then you've got,
Okay,
ground floor units.
okay, that looks nice, that looks nice. Okay. Anything else, Commissioners? No? Well, thank you very much, I appreciate it,
All right.
Brian.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak on this item? Okay, having no one else come forward, I will go ahead now and close the public hearing. Commissioners, is there any discussion? No? No? Okay, then may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the zone change as requested.
Motion by Francis,
Second.
second by Karen. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0.
Commissioners, this item will be placed on the City Council agenda on Monday, July the 3rd, 2023, for a second public hearing and a final decision. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Okay, final item for the Planning and Zoning Commission tonight is adjournment. May I have a motion, please?
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Aaron,
Second.
second by Robert. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. Planning and Zoning is adjourned. Yeah. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call to order the Overlay District Board. We do have a quorum present, and the first item on the agenda is to consider the meetings of the March 21st, 2023 joint meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by Aram. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. The next item is consideration of 2 alternative standards associated with architectural standards for 2 proposed industrial buildings on approximately 4.70 acres, legally described as Waters Ridge Addition Phase 2, Lot 4-R1 and Lot 4R-2, Block I. I believe that's an I, not a 1. Zoned light industrial, located at 1940 Lake Point Drive, as requested by Douglas Weaver of Weaver Engineering LLC, on behalf of Noel Victory Investments LLC, the property owner.
Good evening, Commissioners. This item is to make a recommendation on the request at 1940 Lake Point Drive. The subject property is one of the last remaining lots in the Waters Ridge Industrial Business Park. The property does not have frontage on I-35. Instead, it is on the west corner of Lake Point Drive and Lake Wade Drive. The owner plans to construct 2 office warehouse buildings with a total of 74,429 square feet on the subject property. Per the I-35 overlay district, the development must comply with all standards in the transition subdistrict. The applicant desires to construct a tilt wall building with a sleek, modern look, which has been reviewed by staff. During the review, 2 alternative standards, one of each building, were identified. The alternative standards are A, to reduce the brick or stone requirement on building A from 80% brick or stone to 18.49% large format tile. B, to reduce the brick or stone requirement on building B from 80% brick or stone to 18.44 large format tile. The overlay subdistrict articulation standards require that a minimum 80% of each building facade consists of brick or stone. Large format tile will make up roughly 20% of the most visible facades and 0% of the facades non-visible from the right-of-way. Board and Council have approved similar alternative standards for other warehouse developments in the I-35 overlay. The proposed design is consistent with the other Waters Ridge Industrial Park developments and adheres to higher standards such as incorporating additional articulation and higher percentages of large format tile. With that, staff recommends that the Overlay District Board recommend approval of the alternative standards A and B as presented. Staff is here, and also the applicant if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's going to be Building A and then Building B.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for staff? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be happy to hear from the applicant if they wish to come forward, but don't have to. No? Okay. Just want to give you a chance. All right. If there is no discussion on this item, then may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the alternative standards A and B as presented.
Motion is by Francis. Let me get that. There we go.
Second.
Second by Aram. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0.
Commissioners, this item will be considered by the City Council on June 19th, 2023 at 7:00 p.m. on the City Council agenda. They will take final action. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, final item for this evening is the adjournment of the Overlay Standards Board. May I have a motion, please?
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Karen.
Second.
Second by Robert. Vote now. Motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned.